Hello and welcome to the Red Menace. We're a now international comedy news podcast bringing you the latest and greatest news from two parts of the world.
Sure.
Whereas previously it was just one.
Yeah, we were both in the same country, and now we're in different countries, but it still sounds like we're in the same room to you lovely listeners.
The listeners might not realise this, and we get asked about this almost constantly, but we do not... We do not record in the same room.
We've always
recorded. We did it literally once, and it was kind of weird, and the audio was bad.
Yeah, it was not an ideal experience, but, you know, you're getting the same... Well, this might be an interesting audio experience, this one, because I'm in a tiny hotel room.
Do you want to give us a review of your hotel room paid for by the Australian government?
Your taxpayer dollars at work. I have... Well, basically, like, the bed is quite big, which I don't think is ideal because the bed is taking up a majority of the room.
You have no idea how much self-restraint it took for me to not do, like, a bow chicka bow wow thing when you said that. Like...
Well, I'm so glad you used that self-restraint. That shows a sign of growth in you.
But it also, I think, shows a sign of regression because I then decided to do it in a meta way, do it anyway.
Last week... We recorded on 420 Day, and we didn't mention that one moment at all.
I'm so genuinely sorry to all of our listeners.
I'm really sorry that we didn't actually, you know...
To our thousands of listeners that definitely exist about all of the weed jokes that we missed out on making.
Yeah, we didn't make a single pun relating to the green stuff. Although I feel like I'm in the wrong place to be making green stuff jokes at the moment, so I'm going to refer to it simply as the green stuff.
Okay, well,
You can make green stuff jokes as much as you like.
I'm in a different place, so anytime I get the opportunity to talk about that dank, juicy kush, I absolutely will.
I can't say that. I'm simply not allowed.
No, you will, like, literally be killed.
Yeah,
so we're going to... Yeah. Do we want to just jump into it? Or do you have, like...
No, I don't really have anything too exciting to say, because at the moment I've just been staying in a hotel and doing orientation activities.
Sounds riveting.
I think one of the fun experiences in Indonesia as a country in general is that walking along the footpath is like a fun obstacle course every day, because there's sometimes, like... an entire panel is missing and there's like a giant hole underneath that you could fall into some really gross water, which is a fun experience that I've never had to have.
That's extremely fun. Just like little traps.
But, you know, it's exactly right. It's to catch those dang millennials who walk along using their mobile phone.
It's got to keep you on your toes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, millennials can't walk along using their mobile phone, using the social medias. They've got to look out at the world, you know, and be engaged in society.
I think we could expand upon this concept and apply it to Australia here. Like, what if instead of necessarily just having holes in the ground, because that's going to be a lot of infrastructure to build all those holes.
Yeah, it might be a bit too much, and Australian infrastructure projects do not get completed in a timely manner.
So here's my suggestion, which I think is much more manageable. What if we just put broken glass everywhere?
Yeah, I think or dog poos.
Or dog poos, or like knives that we've sticky taped to the ground and are facing up.
Yeah,
I want there to be a real risk involved. Like, there needs to be stakes.
Something,
quite literally stakes.
Or just hot coals.
That's fun. Okay, so I like hot coals because it's not an instant pain, but like if your shoes are rubber soled, they will melt eventually. They will melt,
and then you will ruin your 6 sneakers. Those
so it's
sneaky boys that you
pain.
paid. Exactly. It's hitting you where it hurts in the wallet. So your sneaky boys will melt to the footpath and it will become like a chewing gummy kind of texture. And that's just not on. That's just not cool with the kids.
So we've got lots of dangers that are attached to the floor, but I have a suggestion for dangers we could attach to the walls. Which is we could just attach little FPOS machines with, like, the card tap things that are always set to deduct $50 from any credit card that taps against it. So if you lean too hard against this wall with your wallet side, you're going to lose some cash.
I like
because
this. That's booby trapping the world to keep people on their toes, keep people focused, keep people engaged in the real world.
On that note, I have It's kind of cold in Sydney, outside, unlike in Jakarta.
No, please.
So I've got a blanket on my lap, and I've just found a thorn in it, and I have absolutely no goddamn idea where this thorn has come from.
What kind of thorn?
Like, it looks like a prickle from like a lantana plant, like a bush thorn, like a pretty hardcore spike.
To be honest, it's not really an ideal thing to be inside your blanket.
I don't know how it got inside my house, let alone my blanket.
So someone is already trying to get us dang millennials.
Someone's been trying to plant this idea in my head. This is me being incepted, I think.
You are being incepted.
Spikes in my blanket so that I put knives in the street.
It's a tough going, hey?
Do we want to start with a story?
Yeah, why not?
Now, I know this might be the first time in literally recorded history, that I have more stories than you.
It is. Do you want to start with a story, Chris?
Oh my god! Oh, I don't like this at all.
What a change of status quo.
I'm going to start on the topic of hotels, and I found
this is quite relatable to me at this point of my life.
Exactly. I found this in stuff.co.nz.
Classic.
This is by Bradley Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
The headline is Philippines Hotel Married Couples Only Sharing Rules. A hotel in the Philippines is garnering attention online over its controversial ban of unmarried couples sharing bedrooms as part of its advocacy against extramarital sex.
Okay. A hotel advocating against extramarital sex.
Yes, so they are making a stand against extramarital sex.
I'm glad that the hotels are getting in on this advocacy.
Exactly. The sign, which displayed Eprata Farm's divisive room guidelines, was shared on the hotel's Facebook page after being leaked by an unknown customer. That's a fun attitude to public relations.
It sure is.
The guidelines state that only married couples can share a room. Hotel staff may ask for proof of marriage, like identification and wedding rings, prior to booking, as the hotel staff's Christian beliefs will never be compromised.
Oh, no.
So, after dividing the internet, the hotel issued a statement defending its actions in a 700-word... a lengthy Facebook post which has been shared more than 700 times, which is not that many. Mm-hmm. Good day in the name of the Lord, the post reads. It so happens that one of our guests took a photo of our sign and posted online. We have no control on how this went viral. Perhaps our controversial rules are not acceptable to everyone, thus having multiple shares and comments. I love how they're bragging about how widely seen their rules are.
How widely seen this, negative... publicity for them is.
We believe in the sanctity of marriage. We further believe that sex is capitalized.
Well, I'm
caps.
glad that it is.
Yeah, so we further
As
believe
it should
that
be.
Sex should be done in the confines of married people only. This is the reason we screen guests of opposite sex wanting to check in our rooms so that we can deny entry to couples whose intentions are for short stays or to do extramarital affairs.
But how do they know that the people are a couple?
It
could just be a male and female friend who are in no way sexually attracted to one another.
Well, I think
so. If you're a male and female friend, you have to get married so you can share a room together.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
It's a very expensive process, but
yeah, the hotel better have some good bargains to make up for the marriage certificates that friends have to get to share a room together.
They don't trust people to be in the same room together without just jumping each other's damn bones, because we're all such naughty, disgusting creatures.
Yeah, basically. The irony is that, I'm assuming these people are probably homophobic. But if you are a same-sex couple who's coming to share a room in this hotel, then you're probably just oh, no worries, you're just besties, go on through.
If I was in a gay relationship and I went to this hotel, I would have the loudest sex I possibly could.
But it's okay because you're not a man and a woman who are unmarried.
I wonder how they would respond to that. Also, how hard would it... Well, okay, if you've got, like, a bit more money, you can just rent... You can get 2 rooms and then just, like, go into the other one. Or if you have
you can invite your friend into the room.
Yeah, or you could have 2 groups of 2 who both stay in same-gendered rooms and then just do, like, a little swapsies.
Well,
there's a lot of options to get around these rules. They're not very...
I don't think they're that thought out. I don't think their policy was that well orchestrated. I think they just kind of decided that, hey, this is what we're doing, you know, let's have it at that. But I don't think there was a lot of thinking through this process.
If you're going to try and stop people from, you know, doing the naughty stuff, doing the devil's playtime, then I think you need to, like, really think about it, and you need to have a really concrete plan. And I don't know what that looks like, because you can't stop human beings from getting up to... I don't know where the fuck this is going. Do you have a story, Alice?
I don't have a story, but I'd like to share something else.
Okay. Something
else that I found, which I really just wanted to share this.
Okay.
So someone on Twitter shared this a link from a pet rescue website to a dog which needs adoption. A lovely dog called Jessie. Okay. And let me tell you that Jessie's a dog that needs adopting, and it's a small male Shih Tzu mixed dog. So if anyone out there is listening from Queensland, this dog is not available for interstate adoption, but Jessie could be the dog for you. Now let me read the description for Jessie if you are out there from Queensland and you would like to adopt a dog. So the heading says Jessie, and then the subheading goes, I love the ladies. Are you a lesbian? Confirmed spinster? Man-hater? Have we got the dog for you? Jessie is a total ladies' man. Once he knows you, he will devote himself to you and be the sweetest, most loving little man that you could possibly wish for. If you are female. Jessie hates men.
What a fucking sick dog.
Jessie is a misandrist, confirmed.
This dog hates the fucking patriarchy. It can't handle this.
Let me stress. Hates was in capital letters. Jessie hates men. Now, I don't mean that Jessie prefers women. I mean he actually despises men.
Despises them.
And will not tolerate them in any way, shape or form.
Jessie thinks they are filth to be exterminated.
Absolutely. It says he will not tolerate them in any way, shape or form. We have tried. Good Lord, we have tried. But even when Jessie lures the resident male into the home in a false sense of security for a couple of weeks, he strikes when it is least expected.
What does Jessie do?
Make no mistake, Jessie will bite, and he will go out of his way to bite any male he encounters. He will bite hard.
Oh, no.
Jessie. It keeps going. By the way, this is all one long paragraph block.
He bit my son. He bit my boyfriend Brian. He bit my father. He bit the mailman. Most dogs do that, but he only bites the mailman.
Jessie bites everyone. It was said, be it a hand extended in friendship.
He bit my son's Captain America figurine.
He will bite anything, but not the Captain Marvel figurine. He loved that.
No, he loves her.
He loves her. He's a Captain America. He's a Captain Marvel kind of guy.
Yeah.
It says, Jessie will succeed in bringing tears to a grown man's eyes. At home with the woman of his dreams, Jessie is a perfect gentleman. He is fine with other dogs, good with cats, and his chubby little body will keep you warm at night. Aww. He will follow you around, he will give you constant companionship, he will give you the most adoring, loving and devoted eyes. With Jessie in your life, you really won't need a man, and if you commit to this special guy, you won't have the option to have one anyway.
If you are a man, he will literally kill you.
He will find you and kill you. With Jessie in your life... Oh, sorry. I've already read that part. This is what happens when it's all one big block text. Just think, when your family tries to set you up on blind dates with a guy, you can use your dog as an excuse not to go. You have a valid excuse not to have people over, and you get to have a bloke who will never let you down. In all seriousness, Jesse is an awesome dog. He just understands what jerks men can be.
If you ever bring a guy over, you have to get him to wear like a Kevlar suit. You have to get him to wear like a stab vest.
And they see this like fat little Shih Tzu, and they're like, "Oh, what harm could this fat little Shih Tzu do?"
But Jesse's
make no
like, "Fuck you!
mistake.
I'm a cannonball with teeth. I will end you."
Jesse is a solid unit, though. If you look at the picture of Jesse,
Oh, gosh,
let me describe Jesse to you.
please.
In the headline picture, Jesse is a black and white Shih Tzu. His body's all white. His head is black. He's quite a chubby little boy. And he does look like he's deaf staring the male photographer who's taking this picture.
The camera did not function 10 seconds after the photo was taken.
This is the last time that the photographer was seen. This picture, put it on Reddit. This is the last photo taken by this male photographer.
If anybody sees a dismembered corpse of a photographer with a camera nearby,
It's
please report it.
absolutely Jesse is responsible for that.
Oh, God.
The last little bit, it says, "Are you the woman that Jesse has been searching for?" So ladies, if you're looking for a dog and you're not looking for a man, Jesse is the boy for you.
If you're looking for a dog who will kill men for you, Jesse's
If you're
your
looking
guy.
for a dog who's willing to smash the patriarchy, then boy, do we have a dog for
Quite
you.
literally.
I hope someone adopts Jesse, though. Jesse is available for adoption in Karma's Place Rescue, is the rescue group, and if you're located in Queensland, please adopt Jesse.
So, I think we need to try and turn this funny animal adoption ads into a segment somehow. But I have another story for us.
Okay.
This one's from stuff.co.nz yet again.
You're just repurposing the same website. That's good. It's a good website,
Yeah, it's almost
I
like
suppose.
all the other websites just talked about the Australian election and bored me half to death, and stuff.co.nz
Now, we
was
do
the
have
one
to
that was
mention,
good.
just briefly mention the fact that all our favourite Australian community newspapers have just been purchased. So we have a new overlord of this podcast,
Whose name I don't remember.
whose name I don't remember, but he is a guy
I'm
who
going to
purchased
call
the
him
newspapers. Daddy.
Philip. Yes! I'm going to call him
Australian
Daddy.
Community Media, the new daddy of Australian Community Media.
I've never been prouder of you than I am in this moment.
Let's go on to
Okay.
your story.
Instead of calling it Fairfax Media, can we start calling it Daddy Media?
This is his first decree. He's like, now I want to change the name of Australian
To
Community
Daddy
Media.
To Daddy's News. Daddy's News.
Oh, no.
Well, there's the episode title.
Let's Jesse's daddy.
Oh, God. Okay, so a global poll by travel website Big Seven Travel has named the New Zealand accent the sexiest on Earth.
Oh, who was surveyed in this poll? Sorry.
Big Seven Travel.
Is Big Seven Travel based in New Zealand?
Unspecified.
Sorry, I mean Big Seven.
Big Seven Travel.
Big Seven.
So they described the accent as outrageously charming.
Is it though?
To celebrate topping the unscientific poll, Seven Sharp decided to give romantic movie scenes a Kiwi twist.
Okay.
The Kiwi tones topped the 50 sexiest accents in the world, with the South African accent second and the Irish rounding out the podium. The South African accent sounds a lot like the Kiwi accent, so I'm really getting a sense of these people's tastes.
Yeah, I'm not sure if your accent is distinguishable between the two. It's definitely not. But which celebrities are they basing this sex appeal on?
I don't know if this is like based on sex appeal necessarily, or if this is based on like people they've met. So they're like, I've met some really dang sexy New Zealanders.
Okay, sure.
I think maybe that's what it's about. But
I suppose so.
It beat out the French accent. It beat out the Irish accent. Like,
Well,
both
good on New Zealand.
Very objectively sexy accents.
Sure.
I am going to encourage you to all look at this article, though, because there's a very funny video that is scenes from romantic movies like The Notebook and Titanic, where they've redubbed the dialogue with New Zealand accents. So there's a bit in The Notebook where the Rachel McAdams character is like, "Why didn't you write to me?" And then the Ryan Gosling character says, "I wrote you a letter every day for a year." And it's the funniest shit I've ever seen. And
I'm hoping that it's all like, you know, I suppose the type of accents that you hear in, what's that show called? Flight of the Conchords accents.
Oh yeah, it's very much in that zone.
Good. I like that zone. I like that zone of accents. It's very good.
I've never been with a Kiwi person, but I feel like there are some things that you might say, like, "Oh yeah, take off your shit." It just sounds odd.
Sorry, take off your shit?
If you could just take off your clothes for me, please, real quick, that would be really great. Oh yeah, I love looking at what you got in those trousers. Like,
No.
Although, to be fair, the Australian accent has the same issue. Because if I go,
mate, take off
mate,
your fucking jocks.
Take off your fucking dackies, mate.
Tracky dacks. Slip off your track.
Oh my god, I love the way those tracky dacks are working on your ass.
It's inherently unsexy.
Yeah, I think any thick accent is inherently unsexy, perhaps. Maybe we just need a mild accent to be sexy.
Sure, we need like a standard one.
Exactly. I one day, in some point in my life, I want someone to come up to me and be like, "Oh, you want to get out of here and go back to my place and maybe have a nice time, just you and me?"
Just you and me?
I think that just you and me in my bedroom. Oh yeah, you know what I'm talking. You know what I'm talking about.
Playing Scrabble.
Stephen, I'm sorry I know you're from New Zealand. We've just spent a long time making fun of you and your people.
Stephen is like our best listener. I love Stephen.
Stephen, Stephen, I love you, and
Stephen, I apologise for our bad New Zealand accents. You can make as many bad Australian accents if you choose to.
We grant you permission to make fun of our accent. It's not hard.
Our accent is very easy to make fun of.
Although it's very hard for actors and actresses to do, as proven by decades of failure.
Just hire Australians.
I know, right?
It's
or Dev
that
Patel,
simple.
who can inexplicably do a good Australian accent. Do you have another story? Or do I need to have another story?
No, I've got another one here. This one's I've got a couple of stories. This one is a short one, and we'll save the other one for later if we need it. But I mostly choose this one because in this story there is a police sergeant making a pun.
I don't know if that should be allowed.
My favourite thing is when police sergeants are commenting to the news and they provide a pun free of charge to the news outlet.
That is nice of them, because that means the writer doesn't have to do their usual job, which, as you and I both know as trained journalists, is almost exclusively comprised of coming up with puns.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Although I do not make a lot of puns for my stories. Sometimes they get inserted in.
We both know that's not true.
Let's move on. So this is
your shame.
This is the Cairns Post, which, by the way, was where I was trying to breach through the system because I found another story in there about UFOs and we can't access that one at this time. So let's move on.
Fascists.
This is the one that has the pun in it. So
I think that means that, by the way, it's been censored by the government.
It has been censored by the government because the only people who subscribe to this are big government, the CIA and ASIO and the aliens themselves.
I'm just very taken by the idea that the Cairns Post is where the government employees get all their news from.
The Cairns Post is where, like, the ASIO... It's like personal... It's ASIO news, basically. But this is a free-to-access story I'm reading on the Cairns Post now. So this is one for us, you know, who are not part of the bourgeois. So,
the citizens.
Exactly, the workers. And today's International Workers' Day, so this is a story for the workers, not for the bourgeois. It says, man charged after head of llama statue disappears from gift shop. And the journalist is not named, it's just by the Cairns Post. Now, this is the crime. So a llama statue's head was stolen from a gift shop.
Just the head.
What pun, if you were the police sergeant, would you be making?
Oh, God, I can't actually think of one.
Now, here's
something
what I
about
would say.
getting ahead?
Well, that could be right, but here's what I would say. And I'm not the police sergeant, this isn't what he said. I would say, we have found a solution to this dilemma that we had at the gift shop. Or something along those lines.
Did you hear that that silence that I made?
Yeah, I did hear that. And I just thought that maybe you didn't hear the joke, so let me explain. I used the word dilemma, and I substituted lemma for llama because it is a pun.
No, yeah, I get what you mean. I get what you mean.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad that I was able to describe that for you because maybe now that you can provide me with a laugh.
That was really good. That was a really good use of my time. And what's really
good
exciting,
use of all our listeners' time.
What's really exciting to me is that I get to listen to this again later when I edit it.
Yeah, that's really good for you, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm actually going to get to experience your really great joke 4 times, which is
you'll get
awesome.
a good chuckle at that.
Yeah.
But that's not what the police sergeant said. He had a different pun, which we will get to. Let me just set the scene for you. So it says, a man has been charged with 1 count of stealing after witnesses saw him allegedly trying to hide the head of an iconic llama. The unfortunate victim was actually a statue belonging to a Cairns gift store. The statue had been cut in 2 and it had its head stolen. The thief was flagged with police who were conducting patrols of Cairns' Safe Night precinct. Early investigations revealed that the statue...
the precinct is called the Safe Night precinct?
Yes.
Why would you go anywhere else?
This is the one area where police check the rest of Cairns.
It's a fucking wasteland.
You know how, like, most places have it, like, a red light district, and that's, you know, where the kind of shady
This
goings
is the
on.
green light
the
district.
red light district.
Everything else is the Badlands. Don't go there if you value your life.
Cairns is just like, a nuclear wasteland with one street that the police go on. And that's why this gift shop happened to be in the precinct that police actually investigate. It said early investigations revealed the statue to be worth quite a penny in both monetary and sentimental value.
Quite 1 penny.
Just 1 penny. A specific penny. So, this is where we get to the pun.
All right, wait, let me just prepare.
Just take a break, take a breather.
Taking a deep breath just for all the laughing that I'm going to let out.
Okay, so... Firstly, we have a quote from the store attendant, and it said, "Please help us. We want our llama back in 1 piece," the store attendant said. Okay, now here we are. Sergeant Steve Heaney said, "No problema."
Fuck!
It's even worse than mine.
Oh, wow. I was holding my breath for a really long time. Steve Heaney,
Mr. Heaney, Sergeant Heaney, stick to being a policeman officer.
I am going to hunt you down, come to your home, and I'm going to say, "Hi, do you think you're funny?" And then you're going to say something, and then I'm going to stand there in deafening silence.
Hi,
Steve. What you deserve.
Can you not make jokes? Thanks.
Steve, we're going to take jokes away from you for a little bit. Jokes are banned from you.
You're not allowed to make jokes anymore.
Jokes are now a restricted substance, and so, as a cop, I'm sure you can understand that.
I'm sure you can understand that, you know, I feel like we should be providing licenses to police officers to make puns to the news. And I like to think that Sergeant Steve Heamy was, you know, thinking of that one in his head for a long time. He's got like a bank saved up depending on different animals, and he'd been waiting to use his llama pun.
You know how when you go to, like, Darling Harbour or something, there's signs everywhere that's like, this is an alcohol-free zone?
Yeah.
I think we need to put up signs all over the safe bit of Cairns that says this is a jokes-free zone.
The one area where the police are.
The safe night district of Cairns.
But I don't feel like it's that safe if you really have to listen to these kind of puns on a regular basis.
No, exactly. I actually think that this is genuinely... like, people are going to leave because of these puns, and then they're going to be killed in the streets. People are going to go to the Badlands,
and they're going to die.
They're going to die in the streets, and they're going to be... all they'll hear is the echoes of the bad puns as as they travel towards that white light.
Now, I like to think the Safe Night Precinct is the only precinct that doesn't have, like, knives sticky taped to the footpath and, like, the tap-and-go systems, like, lining the walls.
Just a moat of knives encircling the...
You know those fish in the Amazon jungle that, like, swim up men's penises?
Yes. Oh, God.
All the, like... Because we're going to have, like, open ditches in the footwalks. In all of those, there's little ponds with those fish.
Oh, you want the penis fish in there? Interesting choice of which. Interesting choice of which fish you've chosen. When piranhas exist, you were like, no, I want the ones that hurt penises specifically.
I want specifically those fish because that's. I think it's more insidious. You know, piranhas will just like give you flesh wounds.
Well, I mean, this gives you
inside your body.
This gives you a flesh wound, Alison. It's just a delayed flesh wound caused by the surgery you have to get the fish removed from the little inside of your dick.
Yeah, well, but you're saying that as if that will ever happen to me, which it will not. So.
Oh, okay. So that's okay then.
Yeah, it's okay then. But you know what? I'm sure that there are some other fish that can go in there which are targeting women specifically. Some horrible sexist fish.
It's all right. I'll just never go outside. It's not that big of a change from usual, to be honest.
Just go into the night safe area that the police are patrolling. You either have to deal with Steve Heamy's puns or you'd have to deal with the penis fish ditches. It's up to you, really, what choice you want to make there.
It's got gun turrets on top of it, and they just mow down anyone who tries to come inside.
There's really not much else to this story, because essentially the head of the llama was stolen, but it does have a happy ending, so let's read that. Okay. It said, police attended a business where a witness described a man allegedly trying to hide what looked like an animal's head in a nearby street. With this information, police were able to find the llama's head and return it to its body. With help from CCTV footage at nearby venues, police found and arrested a 23-year-old New South Wales man. He is scheduled to appear in Cairns Magistrates Court on June 14. And that's it. So you can blame 23-year-old New South Wales man for this pun existing. Really.
I like your suggestion that the happy ending to something get its head cut off is that they find the head again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when I first read this, because on the the preview page, the implication was that a living llama's head was stolen.
Oh, Jesus.
There was no, like, statue in that little preview headline.
I get you.
Which I was like, what the heck? But then I clicked through. I'm like, okay, it's, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a statue head.
I have a story from 7news.com.au submitted to us by Marianne.
Thank you, Marianne.
Thank you, Marianne, the wonderful Marianne. The headline is, Oxford University professor, aliens are having our babies.
Okay.
Aliens are already...
Okay, just read the story, please.
Aliens are already here on Earth breeding with us and spawning new generations of alien-human hybrids to tackle climate change and nuclear weapons, an Oxford University professor claims.
professor and why is he at Oxford University?
Oxford Oriental Institute professor Dr. Young-Hai Chi initially outlined his theory
Gosh.
at a 2012 AMUC conference in a lecture he called Alien Abduction and the Environmental Crisis. He elaborated on his comments in an interview with the Oxford Student last week. The Oxford Student website reported that Chi's presentation cited American abduction researcher Dr. David Jacobs, who has argued that aliens are colonizing the Earth by producing these hybrids. Jacobs says that second-generation hybrids are now living among us. We just haven't noticed them.
Okay.
I can hear you saying, Alison, I can hear you thinking, will there be any evidence to justify this?
Yeah, I'm thinking that a little bit, I will be honest. Just a little part of me. A little part.
Of course there is not.
This is just him postulating. I wish that, like, I was an Oxford University professor, so when I, like, postulate weird shit, like, you know, it's 3 a.m. in the morning, you're, like, sitting, you've just hopped out of the shower, and you've just, like, postulated, what if, like, everyone sees colour differently?
Can you
imagine?
imagine?
What if dogs could speak?
I wish I was a professional smart person so that I could fuck with people in the way that this guy seems to be. Like, if I could just tweet out, if you have sex with a fish, you turn into Jesus. Like,
Okay.
you know, like, you could just say something like that. And you are right.
Yeah.
You are
Sure.
right because you're you.
Yeah, because you are a professor,
Yeah.
you are... Suddenly your postulations become news.
Exactly. If we
which
say
is a really good thing.
that the womb is actually not what we really think it is, it's actually the heart of a dying star inside the body of each and every woman that becomes every human being. Like,
Jeez,
if I
that sounds like
say
something like an anti-abortion activist would say.
Don't even think about them having fingernails. Think about them having sunspots.
Oh dear.
Chi says the arrival of the aliens comes as a response to the big problems humanity is facing, climate change and nuclear weapons in particular. He has since written a book in Korean called Alien Visitations and the End of Humanity. He says they come in 4 different types, with insect-like aliens at the top of the hierarchy, ruling over small aliens, tall and bold aliens, and even aliens with scales and snake eyes.
What's wrong with bold aliens?
No, like, not bald, like B-O-L-D, like really out there aliens. Aliens that are really self-confident and are
They're
somehow
just really,
not at the top of the
outgoing,
hierarchy.
you know, they're just...
But those are the ones that get ruled over. It's the ones who really put themselves out there.
In the alien society, you know, social anxiety is a sign of, you know...
Strength,
yeah. And in the alien hierarchy, the more socially anxious you are, the more, like, powerful you are, which means that the, like, overlord of the aliens, no one's ever seen him. He never goes out in person.
If we could apply this logic to our world, I'd be the fucking king. And it would be... Honestly, I feel like it'd be a bit intense, and I don't know if I want that to...
Well, exactly right. So, the king aliens, no one ever sees them. Like, the high-class aliens. The only ones that are, like, out on the streets
the king
are, like, the
aliens
plebs.
doesn't actually do any ruling. They're just in their bedroom having a panic attack constantly.
Oh, no. The poor king aliens.
Yeah. Poor thing. Where they come from, he is not able to say, but Chi believes their sudden enthusiasm for getting closer and breeding with us comes from the fact that they share the same biosphere and are concerned at the effect human existence is having on the habitat.
Well, look, I'm glad that aliens care about climate change.
If they are far, they shouldn't be concerned about us. I don't think they are from far away. They are just next to us. We can't see them. I like this idea that he is saying that he believes that the aliens can't be from far away because they're right next to us. He started from the concept of aliens are here already and worked backwards to find, like, explanations for it.
Yeah, they're here already because they're not far away because they're next to us.
Yeah. She
Sure.
says that
I mean, it makes sense. And of course, like, what is he a professor in? Like Oriental Studies?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. I think that makes him the expert on astrobiology. Yeah.
Well, on that note, she said that aliens want to breed with us because they find our DNA valuable in the preservation of their own species, and also to help create a new kind of species that can cope with future climate conditions, like the second Alien versus Predator movie, where they create an evil hybrid that kills all of the people.
Here's an idea. You could just move to a country on the equator and adjust to being sweaty 24/7 like I have. I'm just adapting for the climate change universe.
I was going to talk to you about that, actually, Alison. You have red hair.
Yeah.
Which means that you're genetically designed to live in, like, an ice age.
Yeah, which means I'm genetically designed to die in the tropics, which is what I'm doing right this moment.
Unless you get day after tomorrowed, which seems unlikely.
Sure.
At least in the very short term. Give it a decade, maybe.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like you're going to turn into a gelatinous ooze.
Well, yeah, or... You know, last time I was here, I somehow managed to lose weight, even though I was eating fried food 24/7, and I feel like I just sweated out all of the fat from my body.
Do you need to just wear swimmers constantly?
Well, I suppose so, because your clothes will constantly be moist.
Exactly.
But here's the thing, everywhere in this country has air conditioning, unlike our great country of Australia, where nowhere has air conditioning.
Great is a strong word.
Great is a very strong word. I was, to quote Clive Palmer on that.
Our okay country of Australia.
Our, like, somewhat reasonable sometimes country of Australia.
Look, if we upgraded the air conditioning frequency, then I think I would upgrade it to a good country. I think that's really holding it back.
Well, sure, but I also feel like, you know, upgrading the air conditioning frequency also leads to the global climate change, which is just a self-fulfilling prophecy.
That's very true. So I guess I'm moving to Antarctica to ride penguins and shit.
Now, can I throw it out there that I did Google this story, and I I happened upon the write-up of it in the most esteemed British newspaper, express.co.uk.
Awesome.
And in the related stories column to the right of the story, I found a story from Sunday the 28th of April, 2019, which was, in fact, 2 days ago.
And also my birthday, coincidentally.
Yeah, well, happy birthday. This is
what gift are you about to give me as my birthday present?
Life on Mars, ? Ancient Egyptian tomb discovery stuns UFO expert. It explains pyramids.
So what I've just heard is that Elon Musk is actually the resurrected ancient Egyptian god that is going to recolonize Mars.
Now, the subheading does explain a little bit in more detail as to what the fuck is going on in that headline. It says, NASA photographs of an alien king's tomb could once and for all prove the ancient Egyptians were from Mars, a UFO expert has shockingly claimed.
Again, prove is a strong word.
Where did they find the alien king's tomb, though? I feel like...
That's a very good... Again, yeah, you know what? I've skipped a step, haven't I?
photos of an alien king. It's like, okay, well, that itself should be quite a, like...
I just love the idea that NASA, like, one day they just make a really casual, like, press... Like, not even a press conference. They just put a PDF out on the, like, nasa.news website that just says, like...
Photos of an alien king's tomb.
Yeah, they're like, we found the alien from Prometheus and here's some photos of it. We think it's pretty cool. And that's literally all of it. And...
Now, there's so many related stories from recently, because this is another one from May the 1st of this year, which says, alien base up to 10 kilometres high, spotted on Mercury in NASA pictures, shock claim.
Could it be a big rock?
Now here's another shock claim headline. Earthquake warning, magnitude 8 tremor to bring total destruction by Friday. Shock claim.
Wait, that seems realistic, because that does happen. Where is that supposed to happen?
Should I take a little look-see at this one?
If you say fucking Jupiter or something...
A major earthquake which could cause cities to crumble and cause total destruction is being predicted to hit the planet by May 3. One tremor mystic has warned. The planet, in fact.
So what it's going to be like God comes down and just kind of flicks the earth and makes the whole dang thing shake.
Well, actually, this is what it says. This is the evidence here. And this person is presenting evidence for their theory. It says, this is because Venus, Mercury, and the Sun are apparently specifically positioned in our galactic neighbourhood. In a way, their gravity can tug on our planet. The ensuing push and shove from the celestial bodies could cause tension to build in the Earth's tectonic plates, which could ultimately be released as an extremely powerful earthquake.
Ah. Or, counterpoint...
Hang on. The guy who said this is a self-confessed New Aged earthquake researcher, Frank Hugebeets.
New Age earthquake
I like
researcher.
Mr. Hugebeets, the New Age earthquake researcher.
That's a fun new genre of person to ignore. I'm very into
New
that
Age
as a title.
earthquake researcher.
Yeah.
I do think the thing I like about this is all of these stories have been from the past week, and there's more.
Is it just like fucking Nutjob Week or something? I'm very confused.
I feel like the entire of the Express newspaper is Nutjob Week.
Well, that's fair.
That's kind of the whole point of the newspaper. I haven't seen any... Like, I mean, there's more here. It says, like, time traveller interview, shock account of time travel.
Okay,
and then there's another one that says, good news for Brexit, which is also equally, like...
That's also
shocking
ridiculous.
Lunatic newspaper.
It really goes to show just how much better the Daddy's News papers are in Australia than the Express over in the UK. I'm really glad we've got what we have.
At least some semblance of reality.
Thank you, Daddy, for the news.
Yeah, but I like how in all of these, just because, you know, they don't want to be seen as pushing, like, lunatic conspiracy theories, so they always tack on, like, shock claim at the end of the headline.
True. This is one step back from what, like, fucking Logan Paul does, where he'll just talk about, like, I'm a flat earther now as a big joke, but with no context to back it up. So you just have to know it's a joke, and you don't when you're 8. And then you become a flat earther.
Yeah, and a flat earther is very cool now.
Which, yeah, that's there's not a lot to say about that.
Now, do you want to know more about this UFO on Mars story before we wrap it up?
Yeah,
because
why
I just quickly want to share a little bit of this with you, because I do have it open here, and look, there is some. I want to know more about this alien king's tomb.
You guys are hearing live discovery because we've not read this story before about the alien king's tomb.
No, exactly.
This is breaking news, everybody.
Absolutely.
It's the first time you and me are learning about it, so it's breaking in that sense.
It says UFOologist Scott C. Waring believes his evidence of a genuine Egyptian-style carving could unravel the mysteries of the Great Pyramids of Giza.
Did you say an Egyptian-style carving?
I did say Egyptian. So it's basically these aliens are culturally appropriating the ancient Egyptians, which I find frankly problematic.
The aliens did a dot painting. Oh my god, it's incredible.
Your fave is problematic, ancient aliens. I'm going to read it in this voice from now on because it seems appropriate.
People go back and they watch, like, The Predator, but they don't remember that, you know, Predator as a character, super racist. Said lots of really problematic things. Huge misogynist.
And on his Twitter feed, there was a lot of problematic jokes.
On his Twitter feed, he talks about how he's not racist. He just thinks we need to really have a talk about who we let into this country.
Exactly. The self-titled UFO expert shared his bizarre discovery on his blog ET Database, arguing it could be the real deal. Mr. Waring wrote, "Guys, I wanted to share this with you. Not only did I find an Egyptian-style carving on a hill on Mars, but I actually found several."
I also found a crop circle on Mars.
So, he personally went to Mars and found these Egyptian-style carvings.
I'll see, what I was thinking was that he pointed his big, yummy daddy telescope at Mars and looked through his big daddy telescope and he found, like, Martian crop circles that looked kind of like Egyptian drawings.
Basically, this seems kind of like you know when people find Jesus in their toast, or they find like
Yes.
the Virgin Mary on their like Dorito or something? It's this is very much that kind of thing, because what he's done is he's taken some like snapshots from Mars that NASA's Mars Opportunity rover has
What?
snapped, and he's coloured in some parts yellow, and now it looks kind of like it's an ancient Egyptian carving.
Why is it that other people find religious figures in everything, and I just think everything looks like a dick? Like, it's...
I find a lot of like smiley faces, and that's about as close as I go to like
I find a lot
religious
of
figures.
angry faces. I would love if people just started finding art in, like, Martian landscapes. Like, you point a telescope at Mars and you're like, oh, I found a Van Gogh.
Now, I could go very deep into this, but I just found another link that says, is this ancient lioness statue evidence of UFOs? And this is how people become fucking conspiracy theorists.
Alison, are you backdoor piloting your own supernatural podcast through our podcast? Because it really sounds like that's what you're doing right now.
There's a lot... Ancient aliens on Mars. Is this ancient lioness statue evidence of UFOs? Images of what appears to be ancient alien structures on the surface of Mars have surfaced online, stunning UFO hunters and skeptics alike.
I don't see how a statue of a lioness is evidence of a UFO. It's evidence of a big alien lioness, but, like, the alien, well, you know about it, and it's not flying because it's a lion.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's
I
just
just
wrong
feel like a lot of these
terminology.
UFO researchers have a little bit too much time on their hands because they're taking a lot of photos of rocks and just colouring in bits that vaguely look like something. So maybe, like, I don't want to say this, but maybe they should find, like, a hobby.
Well, I think this is their hobby, Alison.
Well, it kind of is. It's a good hobby, I suppose. It's a fun hobby. And hang on, there's a video on this lioness page, and it's just someone who's saved a lot of photos of the rocks, and then a lot of pictures of lions, and they're just... their entire desktop is covered in pictures of lions and rocks. Now imagine someone comes over to your house and they're like, oh, can I just check my Facebook? And the entirety of your desktop is pictures of lions and rocks. How do you explain that?
Well, that's where the aliens come from, Alison. This is...
Now,
I'm a truther.
the alien who's come to breed with you has approached your...
We joke, but there are several episodes of Doctor Who about aliens that live underground that we just don't know about.
All of these articles, by the way, are by the same guy, Sebastian Ketchley.
There is also an episode where someone does bone one of those aliens. So, like, we joke, but this is the plot of Doctor Who.
Well, that's great. Great to know.
I'm just saying.
Just
We're
throwing
not
that out there.
The UFO people are just watching Doctor Who and then just saying what happens in it. And that's...
Just recalling the plot. It's like, ancient UFO researcher discovers that Time Master Doctor has reincarnated as a woman. And then people are like, whoa, that's quite bad, because I'm not going to watch Doctor Who anymore because the SJWs have taken over.
Yeah. Yeah. Damned SJWs.
Absolutely.
No, I'm a proud SJW.
Me too.
Do we want to wrap up?
Yeah, let's wrap up.
I feel like this is the podcast equivalent of, you know how when you have a conversation and the first person to mention Hitler, like that person loses the conversation?
Yeah.
I think with a podcast, the first person to mention Doctor Who loses the podcast. So
Yeah.
I think we've got to call it quits on this app.
We've got to call it. We've got to stop it here before, like, it gets into a whole... Now, to be honest, I haven't watched much Doctor Who, so I felt like I couldn't go on that riff.
No, I very much got that vibe.
I have watched a lot of Torchwood, and I like Torchwood.
That's questionable. So thank you, everybody.
When I first started watching that show, by the way, I had no idea it was affiliated with Doctor Who. It was just something that was on TV sometimes.
It was just like a show about aliens where there was lots of blood and people boned constantly.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, this is the kind of show about aliens that I suppose is more realistic to our lovely Oriental Doctor's theory.
That's true, actually.
He's been watching Torchwood. That's where he got his ideas from.
People do definitely fuck aliens in that show.
They certainly do. That's where he got his theories from. Let's wrap up.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to our... I went to say our wonderful podcast, which is not true. But thank you, everybody, for listening to our questionable podcast.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Red Menace Cast. Alison, because of her other country that she's in, we're probably not going to have an episode up next week.
No, unfortunately, next week I do have to share my shitty tiny hotel room, so I probably will not be recording this with someone else in the room.
No, frankly, it's a miracle we could record this week, but it's been a fun trial of what it will sound like going forward.
I believe, hopefully, it should work out.
We will get to that 69 episodes if it kills us.
We will. We are determined to get there, and we will commemorate it with a special episode.
Oh, God. No, that's a lot of pressure. All right. Thank you. We don't have a final pun this week
Actually,
because...
the special episode will be nothing lewd. It's a clean episode.
We will not cuss. We will not mention anatomy once.
Episode 69 special is a family-friendly episode.
It's our episode for kids. It's going to be great fun.
We're just Fortnite references and we'll be dadding constantly.
That's a fun concept. Let's workshop that.
Let's workshop it. We'll get there.
So, no, we don't have a final pun this week, unfortunately, because in Daddy's news, they no longer publish puns, which is extremely frustrating.
That's his first decree is no more puns allowed
Daddy's
in Daddy's
cut down
news.
on puns. I'm sorry, but you know who to take it up with Daddy.
With Daddy.
Thanks
You
for listening.
can Google the news and find out his name. I do not have it on me right this second.
It's at daddysnews.com. I wonder if that domain's available.
I'll
find out after
know,
this.
Chris.
All right, thanks for listening, folks. Goodbye.
Thank you, and farewell.